an exciting election for decades. And tonight we've got former Senator Malcolm Roberts with us, and he is running in the state seat. So, Campbell, over to you for the introduction, and let's talk to him, because One Nation's going to have an influence on this election, a big one.
They sure are, Peter, and it's great to have you here with us this evening, Malcolm. Why don't you tell us where you are up front? You're out in Ipswich somewhere, I take it.
I'm in North Ipswich at the Norths Leagues Club, Campbell.
Okay, fantastic. Well, look, let's get right into it. I'm going to hit you right between the eyes up front this evening. No holds barred. Why are you running for Ipswich? It's a pretty tough seat, a big margin, 16, 17%, that sort of range. Don't some of the people in the hierarchy of One Nation like you?
No, not at all. We're fair to all the other candidates, and Ipswich didn't have a candidate, so that's one reason. And secondly, it's Pauline heartland. And thirdly, there's a bit of sniff of corruption around here, and the locals have certainly backed that up. So we need to clean that up if we get into power.
So I take it you're alluding there to what's gone on with Ipswich City Council in the last few months, the revelations there.
Well, that's what people are talking about a lot, Campbell, here, the corruption in the Labor Party, and they're making inferences that it goes right into the state Labor Party, but certainly at the moment the focus is on the council.
Okay. Malcolm, let me ask you this, and I agree with Campbell, I must admit. Ipswich is going to be a tough seat for you. Not that I've suggested you're not up to running in tough contests. You've shown you're prepared to do that. So what does it mean, you coming into the campaign? Because you've been one of the major voices for One Nation. Will you be campaigning outside Ipswich? Will you be campaigning across the state? Or will you just be focused on Ipswich?
I'll be focused on Ipswich, Peter, and leave the state to Steve Dixon and Sam Cox. And, yeah, the focus is on Ipswich. I used to represent the people of Ipswich until Friday as a senator, and now I'm putting my hat in the ring to represent them as an MP in the state parliament. So I have to learn what people of Ipswich need. I'm very good at listening, very good at learning. I'm a quick learner, and I speak up, as you know. I'm not afraid to speak up, and I go into bat for people and for things. And Ipswich has been neglected. It's been ignored. People feel very disappointed here and disillusioned, Peter, and they need a voice. They badly need a voice that can bring to Ipswich what the people of Ipswich deserve, and to make Ipswich mighty. This town, this city, has got a lot of potential, but it has been ignored.
So what are the major issues that you're going to focus on in terms of both the seat and, I guess, One Nation generally? What are the major strategies and policies you'll be advocating, Malcolm?
The first thing, Peter, is to not come in here and tell people what they need. We need to, first of all, understand what they need, and that means a lot of listening. Now, I left Canberra on Friday. I was on the ground here on Saturday morning. I only learned about Ipswich, and Pauline and I discussed that after the High Court decision on Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, I came into Ipswich and I started to door knock and talk to businesses straight away. Did the same again on Sunday, continued it today, and we'll be doing it every day until the election. And to answer your question, we need to learn what people need. But so far, the messages that are coming through are, number one, power prices, electricity prices, and number two, unemployment. Number three, perhaps number one even, is that people are so fed up. They've had a gutful of being ignored by both the tired old parties, especially the Labor Party taking this place for granted. I mean, people have they're just fed up, mate, and there is a swing on. I've had people walk up to me in the street, walk up to me in shopping centres and say, good on you, mate, you've got my vote, I love what you did in the Senate, now let's do it for Ipswich. And people are fed up. They've really had a gutful of being ignored.
Malcolm, you've actually just touched on an issue that I particularly wanted to raise. Anybody who's been involved in politics knows the very first challenge for any candidate is the issue of name ID, recognition, people knowing who you are. Do you think people, you sort of answered before, but do you think people know you? How are you going to build on that, though? What things will you be doing? Do you have a support team on the ground? Does One Nation have the infrastructure to run an effective campaign and run election day? So there's a few things in there you might want to explore.
I've already got, I didn't get the last bit of your question, Campbell, but I've already got the nucleus of a very, very effective campaign on the ground. Yeah, and we're building that for election day. But more importantly, what One Nation has got is we've got the heart. We go out and we listen to people. And Pauline's shown that for many, many years. That's the guts. It's not about selling things. It's not about trying to hoodwink people. It's not about window dressing and pretending and putting up a facade. People have had a gutful of that in Queensland and Australia from both Labor and from the LNP. They're fed up. They've had enough, and they want someone who will listen, who will speak up courageously, as I have done and as Pauline does, and then take action. So we're going to learn. We've got people listening all over this electorate, and we are getting very, very strong support already. The swing is on, and it's not to one of the tired old parties or the other. The swing is away from both of them to the minor parties.
Malcolm, one of the big issues that will come up during the campaign, because this election really is between either the Labor Party getting re-elected in its own right or the Liberal National Party getting enough seats to have One Nation support them for a minority government. They're really the two choices. How do you feel about that, and what would you do if One Nation held the balance of power? Would you support a Tim Nicholls government, or what else would you do?
That'll be something that Steve Dixon will take the lead on, Peter. I'm not here to hypothesise about that. What we're focusing on is winning government in our own right. Now, we don't have candidates in every seat, but we've got candidates in enough seats where we can win. And so we're focused on getting government, mate. We're not mucking around. We're focused on getting government because people in this state are tired. They've had enough of the tired old parties.
Malcolm, I just raise an issue that goes back to some of the major policies statewide, but you might want to comment on this one. That is that One Nation have said that you believe in coal-fired power, you want to see a coal-fired power station. Tim Nicholls and the LNP have said that. I'm unclear, I must confess, on what the Premier's position is. I assume that she probably isn't, given her renewable energy target. What do you make of Katter's Australia Party, Robbie Katter, saying that they were against that? Have you heard that? What are your views on that?
I can't believe that they're trying to represent North Queensland. I mean, it is an absolute disgrace that Anastasia Palaszczuk can come out with a 50% renewable energy target. The people in Ipswich only want lower electricity prices. That is what they want, not more raises in electricity. People here, almost every person raises power prices with me, and they do not want renewables. They want cheap, reliable, synchronous, secure power. And that comes from coal, hydro and nuclear. And at the moment, we've only got two options. We've only really got one option, and that's coal, mate. The Greens are locking out hydro. The ALP is trying to always buy the Greens' preferences, and so they're throwing trinkets and baubles at the Greens. And people here, mate, they're fed up because they can see the waste in this government. They can see the waste as people waste money on ridiculous initiatives, ridiculous propaganda, ridiculous policies that are actually going to destroy this state. We're heading for South Australia, mate. That's the highest electricity prices in the world. We've already got the best coal reserves in the world, clean energy, proven, reliable, safe, secure, and the people of Ipswich want to use that, mate. They want to have cheap power, and that'll bring us more employment. We want to make Ipswich mighty.
Malcolm, I guess one of the interesting parts of this campaign will be the role that Pauline Hanson will play. I know that she's in India until Saturday, but am I right in assuming that she'll be actively campaigning for you in Ipswich and across the state with Steve Dixon, that she'll be a key part of your state campaign?
You are correct. You are absolutely correct.
And does that mean, really, will that be if you like, a boost for all the candidates, or will some people say, look, she's a federal politician, we've really got to look to Steve Dixon?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you at the moment.
Or someone else? Yeah, that's the trouble, Malcolm.
Sorry,
You're in a popular area in Ipswich,
missed that,
mate.
Peter.
What I'm basically saying, Pauline is a senator, so I'm just wondering whether some people would say, well, hang on, she's not running for state.
I can't hear you at the moment.
Oh, OK.
Sounds like
it's obviously that
like
darts you got in the back.
Yeah.
It's the darts in the background you've got there, Malcolm.
You're breaking up.
Who's winning, Malcolm?
Who's winning the darts?
Who's winning? What do you mean, who's winning? I can't hear what you just said.
Who's winning the darts in the background?
Oh, I don't know. It's behind me, mate. I don't speculate. I get the facts, as you know, and I can't see what's behind me at the moment. But the people are winning, having a lot of fun. That's the main thing.
That's all that matters. What I'm asking is, Pauline Hanson is a federal senator. Will some people say that she shouldn't be as actively involved in the campaign since she's not running for a state seat? That's my question.
Pauline will always fulfil her responsibilities. That woman has incredible integrity, unfaulting integrity. She's got courage and she's got persistence, and she will fulfil her federal responsibilities to the people of Queensland and Australia, but she'll also campaign. The woman has incredible energy, incredible staying power, and she will fulfil both her responsibilities. The people of Queensland love her, and we love her, and we will happily have her involved. We're very proud to have her involved.
Malcolm, one of the things that all the commentators, the media particularly, be looking at intensely with One Nation in this campaign is, will you have explosions? Will you have candidates doing silly things? Will you lack discipline? Will there be sort of a rerun of WA and some of the problems there? What would you like to say about that? Have you got it sorted out?
Yes, we have. We have an excellent campaign manager, and we have an excellent party leader in Steve Dixon, who's got a lot of experience. And the candidates all know the media is trying to bait them, trying to trap them. The media, sadly, Campbell, these days don't want to report the facts quite often. What they want to do is get clickbait. They want to embarrass someone. And that's what, they try to do. We understand. We also understand One Nation is continually targeted, continually berated, continually misrepresented. And our candidates are waiting and ready and expecting that, and they will have the discipline. We will all have the discipline, mate. No problem about that at all. And we're not the ones who are sacking ministers, who are turfing out and turfing out members of Parliament. We're not the ones doing that. The Labor Party is, and the Liberal Party, the leaders on the nose. I think people need to focus on the tired old parties.
Malcolm, I guess one of the other issues is about preferences. So have I got this right, that One Nation's going to give preferences against all sitting members? Is that the policy?
Well, as I understand it, our number one policy, and by the way, the only party that so far allocated preferences, Peter, as you know, is the Labor Party. They want to give them to the Greens. The Greens are the last people that the people of Ipswich want to get any preferences to. The Greens are the ones destroying this state. The ALP has been buying off all kinds of programs around this state by trying to buy Greens preferences. That's destroying this state. The Greens last. Now, that's the only party that's made a deal. What we say, above all, is that the people of Queensland control their preferences. It's up to the people of Queensland. And secondly, as I understand it, we'll be preferencing individual candidates according to their merits. We're not even running against some good candidates, and we'll be preferencing individual candidates. And if that involves a sitting member in places, so be it.
Well, Malcolm, I then sort of circle back to where I started. Do you think you can win this seat? Can you make up 16% or so in, well, just under 4 weeks? Is that possible, do you think? And what's the you sort of told us a bit about the reaction on the ground. Can you build that momentum?
Yes, we've already got the momentum. The momentum is already with us, mate. People walking up in the street, walking up to me in shops, is very much there. And, I don't take the conventional approach of saying we're going to put a show in to really win a seat. It's not about that. It's about serving the people of Queensland and the people of Ipswich. So as a party, we'll be serving the people of Queensland. Me, as a candidate in the seat of Ipswich, I'll be listening to the people of Ipswich. And then if I'm fortunate to get their nod, then I will be serving the people of Ipswich for the betterment of Ipswich. We want to make Ipswich mighty. And that means listening and then understanding, not about bribing and cajoling.
So, Malcolm, do you ever see a day when you're likely to return to the Senate? So, heaven forbid that you didn't win Ipswich, for example. Would you return to the Senate at some point?
I never lock out the future. I've learned in my life that the future has many, many twists and turns, as we saw on Friday, mate. I was the only senator that actually fulfilled the responsibilities of Section 44 in terms of the questions asked in the nomination form. The only one who checked out his birthplace and recognised that I wasn't a citizen of India. The only one who followed up where his father was born, even though my mother was Australian and I travelled only on an Australian passport. I still had the nous to check both of those things. No other one of the 7 did that. I'm the only one. I stuffed up in according to British law, not renouncing properly. So be it. That was wrong. But I'm the only one who did that. It fulfilled my responsibilities. And I can't tell. As the High Court said, I was honest, I was genuine in my belief that I was only Australian, but I made a mistake. I can't tell what future things will come. There are so many things, Peter, as you and Campbell know, that we have to deal with in life.
That's right, we do. Well,
one thing I do know, I loved serving the people of Queensland and Australia, and I look forward to serving the people of Ipswich. And I served them as a senator.
Malcolm, we're almost out of time. Yeah, we need to wrap this up. But just before we go, I do actually have to ask you on the back of that. I mean, do you think people are going to sort of look at you and go, well, he got it wrong? You know, can we, you know, has he got the goods? Is there any backlash against you that you might see there?
No, to the contrary, mate. Well, right the way through this, I've been overawed by the sheer support I've had from all over Australia, and especially from Queensland. And you know, people have said to me, "It's a shame that shouldn't have happened." I said, "No, it must happen, because this is not a constitutional crisis that we're facing with 7 people under the scrutiny. It is a constitutional celebration. This is a vindication that our constitution is working." Now, what the people are telling me here in Ipswich is that they support me very strongly because they like the work I've done. I made a mistake in not renouncing properly, but eventually, Campbell, I did renounce. And I'm the only one who did renounce. Not in time, though, so the High Court is right. But the people of Ipswich just see it as that's life, and let's get on with it. We look forward to having you as our representative here in the Queensland state.
Well, Malcolm, it's going to be a very interesting contest. Yeah, very interesting contest. And, you know, in a traditional blue-collar coal mining town, those are the roots of Ipswich. If a bloke with your coal industry
well, remember, I'm an underground coal miner. I've worked for several years as a coal miner at the coalface. I've worked here in Ipswich.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you better go off and become a good dart player too, Malcolm.
So, Malcolm, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. And good luck with the darts.
You're welcome, Campbell and Peter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Take care. We'll see you again.